Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? FAQ&A Thursdays. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today, we're going over some really great stuff. We're going to go over getting started with Dubsado. Let me pull this up here, and I'm going to make sure that we're live on Facebook and that everything is running smoothly here. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Hopefully, guys, your businesses are running well. It looks like everything is good to go. So today, like I said, we're going to go over getting set up with Dubsado. And this isn't just necessarily going to be right along the lines of the Getting Started series. Yes, that's a part of it. But what I really want to do today is talk about what you should be doing when you first get started and then working your way through the process. We've had a lot of one-on-one calls lately that are, hey, I just got the new system, I just got Dubsado, or I'm just getting started. I'm not really sure how to move through the process on where should I start. There's so much you can do with this system, I'm kind of lost. We've heard a lot of that lately. So what I wanted to do was do an FAQ&A that's not necessarily about one specific topic in Dubsado, but more along the lines of this is where you should start and this is how you should start working through your process. And it will make getting set up in the system a lot easier. It'll be a lot smoother, and you'll kind of understand the direction on this is what I need to be working on. This is where I'm at in my process. So if I haven't got things done before that, maybe I should go back and get those done first and then move forward. So that's what we're going to cover today, is basically a roadmap of a great way to get set up. And so what I have for you guys too as well is I have a template in Dubsado that's going to have some points on it and some notes, so you guys will be able to see it. So if you don't have a pen and paper or anything to take notes with, go ahead and grab that, because I think it's going to help out a lot as far as taking notes so you know where to go and how to get started. So let me go ahead and jump in here. I will share my screen, and let me pull this template up so you guys can see it. So this isn't an official way of how to get started. Just to let you know, some people's businesses are very, very different. So some people, there'll be some different things, but overall, this is going to be what you're working towards in Dubsado, kind of a front to finish. Now, there's always different roads that you can take, but as far as kind of the final destination that you're headed towards, it's all going to be pretty much the same. But if you do want to book a one-on-one call with me, I'm going to post a link at the end of this, and you can book a call. And we can help you out as far as actually breaking down your strategy and understanding, okay, this is what you need to do in this situation. But this will give you an overall guide on how to get set up. And we're going to make some changes to this as well, but I think in general, this will help you out. So the first thing that I want to cover is, as you can see here, is write out your process. So I can't stress this enough that whenever you're getting started in Dubsado, Dubsado is a tool that's meant to expand and help your process that you have with your clients. So Dubsado will not develop your strategy for you. It won't develop how you run your business. Dubsado is a tool that helps you run the process that you have. So that's how you can start to look at Dubsado is, I need to know what my strategy is. Whenever I have a new lead that comes in, whenever I get a new client, how do I want to give them the information that I have for them? How do I want to send out my questionnaires? Do I need them to sign a contract? Do I have invoices that they need to pay on? Having your strategy written out and the process that you have will make getting set up in Dubsado so much easier, because I think a lot of people that we've talked to, they're kind of hoping that Dubsado will develop their strategy for them or develop the process on how to set up their business. But that's really going to be on your end, because every business runs so differently. There's so many different things that could possibly happen in your business, or there's different forms that you need to send, different emails. You might have clients that are super high profile, or clients that you're best friends with. So there's so many different avenues that you can take with Dubsado. So it's important to know what you want to do in your business. And when you can get that structure together, then it's going to help out immensely with having Dubsado help you with that process. So that's a big thing. But as far as these actions here, so the very first thing up here, write out your process. I have 2 points and 2 sub-points underneath this that will help later when you're getting things set up. The first thing is circle every piece of content that you have. So when you've written out your process, so for example, when a new lead comes in, I want to send a thank you email out. And then once I get done with that, I have a questionnaire that they need to receive. And then I want to send them a contract. However many pieces of content that you have in your process, and remember, this is after you've written out your process. So once you've written that out, look through your process and then circle every single piece of content that's in there, every email, every contract, every form, questionnaire, everything. What this is going to allow you to do is understand this is what needs to be built into the system, so that when you're going into the system and you go to the template section, you already know what it is that you want to build. You already have it listed out, you already have it circled, and that way, when you're going to the template section, you're not thinking to yourself, well, what should I build? I know I might need a contract, but then you might forget that you need a questionnaire later, and so that can kind of jumble up your process. So a big thing is after you've written out your process, circle every piece of content that you have in there, because that's literally going to be a step-by-step on, okay, I need to make sure that I build all of this in Dubsado, and it kind of gives you a list of everything. So once you're finished with that, the next thing is, and this is kind of a sub point, and it will help you also with knowing what content you're going to need. Every single form that you have, so every contract, every questionnaire, every sub-agreement, every proposal, any piece of content that you're planning on sending to a client or an attachment, a form, contract, write an email for it. What this is going to do is help when you're getting to workflows, and that's going to be further down in the process, and we'll get to that. But it's going to help immensely when you want to build workflows. A lot of questions that we get when we're doing our one-on-ones is everyone wants to jump into workflows because it's automation, it's kind of a cherry on top, it's the flashiness of the system, and it can help maximize your time. But whenever you're setting it up, and people who have built workflows will definitely understand this, that if you have a questionnaire, have an email that goes out with that questionnaire. If you have a contract, write an email that goes out with that contract. The reason why is because in your workflows, you're going to be assigning which form and which email go together. So when we get to that point, which we'll cover, that's really going to help when you're building your workflows, so that you don't have to go back and write more content and create more forms and more emails, and then you get, all crazy, and then you don't know which way you're headed. So write out your process first. The next thing you're going to do is circle every piece of content, and then just kind of a side note, if you see a form anywhere in your list, write an email for it. That will just help. You might not need it, but it's good to have it there just in case you ever need to send a manual email with a questionnaire in it. You can just attach that questionnaire email to it. That's really going to help out whenever you get clients who are rolling in. So the next thing is going to be connecting everything in your settings. So before you get to creating that content, before you get to building workflows and building all of that stuff, the very first place that you want to go is the settings area. So I'm going to cover a little bit of it. There's 3 things that are really important that basically everyone can use. So I'm going to cover those 3, but really everything in settings, you should go through and set all of that up before you even get into the creation process. So I'm going to go into the settings here, and let me jump there. And so we can kind of cover some of those things. So the settings, which is in the top right-hand corner up here, the little gear icon, whenever you're first getting into Dubsado, this is where you need to go first. Hands down, there's no other place that you need to mess with just yet. Going to the settings is basically like setting up your account profile. If you have Facebook or Instagram or any social media, it always has you create an account profile first. You get all of that set up, and then you can start posting pictures and doing all that fun stuff. So Dubsado works the same way. To be efficient, it's good to have your settings set up first. So from here, as you can see, there's ways that you can add your branding in. So your logo, the colors of everything, what your brand name is or your company name, all of these basic things, you want to set all of this up first. Customizing your dashboard. This is something that's new to the UI, so you can choose your different colors. And this will give you, a good idea of what your account is going to look like. But the 3 that I want to make sure that people are aware of is receive money, calendar, and emails. These three are super important for every single business. The rest of them you can have, they're not necessarily a necessity, but these three are ones that basically every single business is going to need. So when I go to the receive money tab, this is going to be where you can set up how you're going to get paid. So this is one that you don't want to miss out. If you guys are wondering how to connect your Stripe, how to connect Square or PayPal, those are the three processors that we have. This is where you're going to set that up at. You'll go into receive money, you'll choose what country you're from, the currency that you want to receive in, and then it will take you to here where you can set up your Stripe, your Square, and your PayPal. So definitely make sure you go to that tab. The next tab is the calendar area. Now, what this section is for is to be able to have you link up external calendars. So a lot of you have Gcal or you have an Apple calendar that you want to link up. This is where you're going to set up where you can do a import and export sync with an outside calendar. So that whenever you're coming in here, if you have personal things that are in your Google Calendar, that can be brought into Dubsado, as well as when you start getting projects in here, all of that can be pushed out to an external calendar. So receive money, calendar is a huge one, and then the one underneath it is also huge, which is emails. So a lot of you guys are wondering maybe if your emails are going to spam all the time, if you are wondering why clients aren't getting emails or where your emails are coming from, this is where you're going to set up your email. So from here, if you have a Gmail account, or you can also choose other email providers as well, so Outlook, Hotmail, iCloud, Yahoo, all of those, this is where you're going to set up your outgoing email. So when you're sending things from Dubsado, this is where it's coming from. So if you have your business email, your Gmail, anything like that, this is the email address that all of your forms are coming from, all of your emails, everything. So make sure that those three are really, really big ones to get incorporated. We do have an integrations tab as well, which is also important. Not everyone needs it or has to use this, but we do have a QuickBooks integration. So if you are wondering how to sync up QuickBooks, this is where you do that at, underneath integrations. You can link it up and it's a one-way sync. So it is whenever you get paid with Dubsado and you're sending out invoices, receiving money, all that information gets pushed into QuickBooks. It's a one-way sync. So that's another kind of side one. Everyone doesn't need it, but it is in the settings. So kind of like what I was explaining with the roadmap, and let me go back in there. Underneath, the second thing you want to do is connect everything in settings, not just these three, but go through that whole settings list, all of those tabs, see what you need and connect all of it. That's going to help in the long run whenever you want to get paid, whenever you want to see things coming in on your calendars. You'll already have all of that set up and you won't have to go back in there to change settings around. So write out your process, connect everything in settings, and then finally we're going to move to creating content. And the way that I have this set up here is a good way of what you want to build first. So this list, if you guys are taking notes, you can start to write some of these things down. A lot of people, when they're first getting into Dubsado, want to immediately go into workflows because obviously, like what I was saying, automation will save you time. It'll make things a little bit more efficient. Your productivity will go up because you're not having to do so much manual work. But the thing with Dubsado is that workflows are very, very content dependent. For anyone who is building workflows, you know, and once you got in there and built it, you realize that if you don't have all your forms and emails and all of that set up, then building workflows can just be extremely overwhelming. But if you have your content built ahead of time, then whenever you get to workflows, all of a sudden it will be a lot smoother. You'll start to understand everything and you'll be able to connect things. If you look at the list of how I have this set up, you'll notice that workflows is one of the last things to set up. The reason why is because you need to have your packages in there, your forms, your canned emails, payment schedules. All of these things are very important to have before you start building workflows. So if you are getting set up, definitely take notes on how I have these written out because it'll make sense as you're building the content. So let's see here. I hope this stays here after the live stream. I can't watch it all now. Yes, Paul. So this will be here all day, so you can go back and rewatch this, the replay. And also in the community, in the search bar, if you just search FAQ&A, then this will pop up as well, so you can come back and watch it later. So don't worry about having to catch all of it right now. So once we're in create content, the first thing that you're going to want to do is create your packages. Not everybody has packages. You might be a business that it's more custom for everything. In this case, you don't need to really worry about the packages. But for those of you who offer anything with a price point on it that's the same all the time, you'll want to create your packages. So let me go there first. If you go underneath templates and then go to packages right here, this is where you're going to create anything that has a price point. So a lot of people are a little bit confused about what's a package, what's not, how does what I offer fit into packages? So I want to explain what's going to go in this section here. Anything that has a price point, anything that it's going to be the same thing every time you offer to somebody. So for example, if you have like a bronze package or a gold package, a light package, anything that is going to be the same thing and you always offer the same package to a client, that's going to fall underneath this. Whenever you're building these, you can have packages that are multiple line items. So this means if you buy this package, it's 6 things come with it. That's considered a package. And then also if you have a la carte items or just single items, add-ons, anything like that is also considered a package. So anything with a price point is built into here. Now, obviously, if you have custom work and nothing is ever the same price-wise, then you don't want to come in here and build all the different custom packages that you could possibly have, because that can get overwhelming. And we do have ways with the proposal where you can work around not having packages. I have some other Q&As. Actually, I think 2 weeks ago, I did a Q&A all on proposals. So definitely check that out if you do have custom work. But if you do have packages or anything that is, price related, you want to build it in here. This is kind of like inventory in a way, not where it's keeping track of how much you have, but this is going to be a list of everything that you offer. So for me, I have a bronze package, gold package, diamond package, but then I also have my add-ons in here. So if you want to do a DVD bundle or drone footage, if you want, additional hours or a second videographer. So anything that has a price point, build it into the packages area. So that kind of encompasses that. So let me go back to the setup guide here. So the next thing that you're going to do after you have packages is you're going to work on your forms. So like what we said in the write out your process area, if you've already written out your process and you have your content circled, then you'll know exactly what you're building forms wise. You'll already have a list of everything that you need. And so when you're going into the form section, you're not going to be confused on what it is that you need to build. You might not need a sub-agreement. You might not even need a questionnaire. But because you have your process written out, you know exactly what it is that you need to build. So if we go over to the form section, so that's also underneath templates. And when we're talking about creating content, I also want to let people know that the templates area is where all of this is at. Any content creation, whenever you're building things, most of it is going to be all in the templates area. So when you come underneath templates and then go to the form section, this is the next thing that we want to work on. So the reason that we want to do packages before we go to forms is because the packages are going to be built into the proposal. So before you start working on your proposal and getting it designed and having everything look good in the proposal is going to be the form that you pitch your pricing with, you want to get your packages set up beforehand. So that way, when you get to the proposal, you already have all the things that you're going to put on there. So that's why the forms should come after the packages. So from here, your contracts, sub-agreements, questionnaires, proposals, all of the content that you have written out that you need to build, now we're going to come into this section and we're going to build all of that. I don't want to get too into each piece of content here because we have a lot of help articles on that and I want to make sure we get through everything. But the forms is going to be the next place that you work on. I do want to let people know that if you are starting from scratch and you don't have anything in here, We do have a template library. So up in the top right-hand corner in Forms, right up here where it says template library, we have an entire library of different pieces that are industry specific that you can go through. If you like the look of any of these forms, you can copy these to your account and then you can make edits from there. So you won't necessarily use this contract or questionnaire proposal as a whole, but when you copy it, you can make further edits. These are all free. So if you see any of these that you like, go ahead and copy those to your account, and then you can use those as a starting point, and then you can build on top of those. The other thing that we do have, and I'll go back to Forms, is we do offer free creation of up to 10 forms for you. So what we'll do is, if you have old contracts that you've used in the past, or old questionnaires, old proposals, if you have them in like PDF format or Word document format, you can take those and attach those in an email and send those to hello@dubsado.com. And we will basically recreate those forms as templates that you can use in Dubsado. So we don't create from scratch. If you say, I need a questionnaire, but I don't know what I want it to look like, we don't go back that far. But if you do have something that we can work off of, like an example, then we can create it in the account for you. So when it comes to the form section, if you are concerned about, well, this is going to take me forever to get these contracts in here or these questionnaires that I've had, we do have that free service. So go ahead and email us those forms and we'll do up to 10 for you. And you can always email us about that and we can help you get all of that together. So that's going to be the form section. The next thing, if we go through the list, is canned emails. Now, the reason canned emails is next is because, like we stated previously, when you're writing out your process, every form, write an email. So if you have your forms done, then you'll be able to look at all the forms and say, okay, I have 3 contracts. I need to write an email for each one of those. I have 5 questionnaires. I need to write an email for all those. So not only do you have it in your process of what emails you need because you've circled all your content, now if you're looking at your forms, you can also see, okay, I need an email for all of these forms. Other things with canned emails, which is also in the template section. So templates and then canned emails. So a lot of people want to know, what is a canned email? What needs to go in this section? If you have any type of emails that you're constantly sending out to clients, it's the exact same pretty much for everybody. So like thank you emails, if someone is inquiring and you have that automated thank you email that goes out, that's a canned email. If you have a consultation email that you send to people, that's a canned email. I guess a good way of thinking about it is, if you're sending it more than 2 or 3 times and you're sending it to clients more than 2 or 3 times, it's a canned email. That way you can select from these and you don't have to type the exact same email over and over and over again. You can select from this list, and then that will help out getting things a little bit more efficient, and you don't have to spend a lot of time writing emails all the time. The other thing with this as well is that when you're building your workflows, and we still haven't gotten to workflows yet, when you're building your workflows and you want to send an email out, you're going to be choosing from this list. So when you get to workflows and you say, okay, I want to send a thank you email out, it's best to have them already set up in canned emails, because then you can just select from it, add it, and then move on to the next action. And it makes it really efficient to function that way. So a good thing when it gets to workflows that I like to make an analogy is, if you have your forms and canned emails and all of this content there, it's kind of like when you're cooking or baking, you have all your ingredients in front of you, so you don't have to go back to the store and grab eggs. You don't have to go back and get milk. You already have everything in front of you, so it's more efficient whenever you start cooking. It works the exact same way. Your canned emails, your forms, packages, all of this is your ingredients, and then the workflow is actually building that recipe. So if you're kind of wondering how that works, that's kind of the process that we're working through. So if we go back to forms, and then we'll go back to the guide here. So right now we've gone over packages, forms, canned emails. The next thing is payment schedules. Payment schedules you don't necessarily have to have, but most people will need this. It's also underneath the template section as well. Payment schedules down here at the bottom is going to be how you can set up the due dates and email reminders for when you want people to pay. how much needs to be due when, how many due dates you have. So like a 50% upfront, 50% later. I need $100 down and the rest due a week before the shoot. That's what payment schedules is for. I'm not going to get too into this and describe everything in payment schedules, but this is where you're going to build all of your due dates. Anytime that you want them to pay, if it's like, for example, this one is in 4 payments. So I have it broken up into 25% each time something's due. This is where you're going to build those structures. You can have as many templates as you like. I have like a 50-50 schedule. So I need 50 up front and then 50 2 weeks before the shoot. This one's a 4 payment one. So you can have different templates with the payment schedules, but this is where you're going to build your due dates. If you need reminders to go out saying, hey, you have a payment coming up, this is where all of that takes place, is in the payment schedules area. So if you're taking notes and following along, we still haven't gotten to workflows yet. So I know that this seems kind of like, well, when are we actually going to get to the automation and all of that? If you have this structure set up, when you get to workflows, it will make so much more sense and it will help out so much more. It'll make it more efficient when you get to that point. So packages, forms, canned emails, payment schedules. The next thing is project statuses. So this is also going to help whenever you're building your workflow as well. Your project statuses, whenever you're creating those, are going to be in the projects area. So let me jump over there. And the project statuses are going to be across the top here. So with your project statuses, this is going to be based off the process that you have written out. So you've already written out what they need to get, what you're going to be doing with the client, and you want your project statuses to mirror that process. So for example, if you're looking at these project statuses across the top, I have consultation booked, follow-up questionnaire sent, consultation completed, proposal sent, waiting on deposit. Anything when you're looking through your list of your processes and you have it all written out, your project statuses should essentially mirror what you've already written out. Because with your leads, and underneath here you have leads and jobs, so that's how you're breaking down the projects area. Is leads are going to be people who are inquiring, jobs are going to be people who have already booked. But most people, when someone inquires, there's a system or a process that they go through. You send them an thank you email, then you send them a follow-up questionnaire. You have your process. That is going to be what your project statuses are. You can use the project statuses for other things, but typically that's the best way to use the project statuses, is to have them systematically move through the process that you already have written out. Each thing that you're doing in your process, so I'm sending them a questionnaire, then I'm sending them a contract, then I need to book a call. All of that can be your different project statuses, so that when you get to workflows, the workflow can move them through this process. It can take them to the consultation booked, then it can send the questionnaire and move them into that status. That's all automation. So if you have your project statuses created first, then when you're building your workflow, you can just choose from those statuses and move them through. And we'll get to that too as well. So project statuses is going to be the next thing that we want to cover. And we have some other stuff on that too. Becca has a video on creating those. I did a FAQ&A on project statuses and job tags, so you can search for those as well if you're looking for more in-depth on each one of those. But for sake of time, I can't really jump into too much of that. The next thing, so we'll go back to this strategy guide here, is job tags. So this is also in the projects area as well. Job tags are going to be a way that you can categorize each project that comes in. If you need to search through your projects by a certain thing, like all of my family sessions, if you're a photographer, all of my headshot people, all of the people that I'm doing weddings for, you can do job tags and you can create those to tag each project as it comes in. So if we go back to projects, and if you're wondering where you can customize all of these statuses here, it's going to be this customize button that's on the right-hand side. So if I click that, this is where you can create all of your different statuses. You can do it for leads if you want to break down your process for your leads, and you can also do it for your job. So contract signed, deposit paid, pictures downloaded, project finish date set, all of the different milestones within your process can be project statuses that can be changed out all the time. So you have these here, but if you scroll down, here's where you can create your tags. So like I said, this is going to be if you want to be able to pull up certain clients that fit into certain categories. So for example, if I want to see all my sporting event clients, all my portrait clients, if I want to see everyone who is paid or everyone who's local, everyone who's out of state, maybe everyone who's on a recurring invoice, anything in your business that you say, I need to search these clients quickly. I need to find all the people who are maybe in 2017. I need all the people that are my Chicago clients. Really anything that has to do with I need to search these people really quickly, you can create a tag for it. And what that's going to do is in the projects area, if we jump back over there and then go to filter, you can filter by tag. So if I need to see everyone who's in my family sessions, which I don't have anyone in there right now, all of my newborn clients, I can pull them up and they'll all pop up. So that's what tags are for, is I want to be able to search these clients really quickly and bring them all up. So that's going to be the next piece of content that you're going to create. So project statuses, since you're already in the customize area, you can create your project statuses, and then you can just jump down here and create your tags. So a good way to think about it, and remember, this isn't the only way to set up Dubsado, but it's probably the most common way, is for your statuses to reflect your process, so the things that you're doing with the client, and then the tags are going to be more related to the categories of clients or the type of clients that you have that you want to be able to search really quickly. So you have that in there, and then we'll go back to the forms and go underneath the strategy guide. Then the next thing we'll get to is finally workflows. So after you've done all of that, now workflows come into play. And I know this seems like we've gone on a long journey together through everything that you need to get set up, but if you have your process written out, it will make creating your packages, forms, canned emails a lot faster because you already have a list of everything that you need to create. So you've created all your content now. Now it's time to put all of that content and then the list of everything that you've created and bring all of that together into workflows. So when you get to the workflow section, which is underneath here, and then go to workflows, what you're going to be doing is taking every piece of content that you've had that needs to be sent out automatically. It might need to be sent out manually, but all of the stuff that you need to send out to the client, all of the things that you need to do with the client. I need to call this client. I need to make sure that this happens. I need to double check this. Anything that has to do with your process is now going to go into the workflows. And what you can do is you can send out all the emails and forms that you have created. You can also have it switch the project statuses as you're moving through. So for example, I have a workflow here that kind of makes sense as far as switching those statuses. So from sending a proposal, now I can switch up the project status to proposal sent. I can follow up with the client. If they pay an invoice, I can change the project status to they paid their deposit, anything like that. But you already have your statuses created. You have your tags created. So with the workflow, you can tag clients through anywhere in the process. So now I have all my content that I need to send out. I have all my statuses and tags created. And now building the workflow is going to be a lot easier to manage because you have everything in front of you that you need and all the tools that you need to build the workflow. You have your process written, content created, statuses created, tags created, all that good stuff. And now the workflows will make a lot more sense when you're building them. And you won't have to go back and make more content, then come back to the workflow and have to bounce back and forth. You've systematically gone through everything and now you're ready for workflows. The next thing as well is that I want to cover too. It's not necessarily something you have to have. And there's a lot more other stuff that's in Dubsado as far as accounting and time tracker and some of those other things. You don't need those, but this is typically what every single business will need. The other thing that I have in here as well is task boards, which are optional. Some people might want to use them. Some people might not need them, but it is a big piece of Dubsado that you can add in. Task boards are going to be where you can create your to-do list or your to-do templates that you want to apply to every project that comes in. So if you're a photographer and let's say you have your photo shoot done, And now it comes to where you need to write out all of your to-dos that you need to do after the shoot. So I need to download the images. I need to Photoshop the images. I need to do all of these things. That's where task boards can come into play, which is underneath the tasks area. You can create your boards, and those can be applied to every single client that comes in. So once you get your workflows done and all of that, you can jump over to task boards and create some of those to-do templates that you want to be able to apply to projects. But it's important to have a lot of this stuff done before clients start coming in, so that when you do start collecting clients and getting clients, you already have all your content created, your workflows are done, task boards are set up, ready to go, and now we can get rolling with our clients. And that's why on this list, the last thing that I have is your lead capture form. Some people are creating lead captures right from the start and then putting them on their website without having any content ready to go. And the thing with that is if you start getting inquiries and people start going to your website, filling in the content information and creating themselves, you want to have your workflows ready to go. You want to have your contracts and emails and everything created, so that when you have your lead capture live, and that's also underneath the form section, when that lead capture is live and ready to go, you have everything ready for them. And so you don't have to scramble once you get clients rolling in. So that's kind of an important thing, is a lot of people want that lead generation and start getting clients in, and that's great. But you also want to think about, okay, what if I get 20 inquiries right away and I don't have any contracts ready to go? I don't have my emails or my packages. Then it's going to be a long time to wait for them to get the right things while you're building that. So think about it like that from a lead capture standpoint, is that lead capture, once that goes live, I should have everything ready to go before I start getting clients rolling, so that it makes sense, and the time between sending them the right material is a lot less than if you didn't have anything ready to go and they start inquiring and then you're panicking because you have to get everything together to send them. So the other thing that I do want to show you as well, we have a few more minutes here, is underneath the lead capture. I want to go there because this might help you when it comes to also writing out your process and strategizing how you want to do workflows. If we go to a contact page, and like I said, this is the form that gets embedded on your website. So this is going to be that lead generation form that creates the projects and can start workflows and get them rolling in the system. So with the lead capture form, you do have the ability to have different workflows start based off of what they're interested in. So if I click on this, which is going to be the workflow element right here in the bottom left-hand corner, you can put this on the form. So if I click this, based off of what they're interested in, I can have a different workflow take off. And so on your lead capture form, if this fits how your business works, you want to make sure that you have your workflows done. So that's why I put lead capture towards the end, is because if you do need to have this element built into the lead capture, you will have to have your workflows done beforehand. So take that into consideration if you're building your lead captures. And if they're a wedding client, I need them to get these emails. Or if they're newborn clients, I need them to get these emails. Or portraits, they get a different set of emails and forms. All of that will stem from getting your content created before you get to putting this into the lead capture. So the lead capture might not be this extensive for you. And like I said, every business is different, so this might not apply to you. But if you are in the business where you want them to get a different workflow based off of an answer they choose, then make sure before you put your lead capture live on your website and people can start inquiring, make sure you have the right workflows applied here, so that when they choose wedding, you have a wedding workflow that takes off and gives them the right information. So just a quick recap before we close out today's session. Hopefully this helped you guys out a lot with a good path to take through Dubsado. But I want to jump back to the forms here, and I just want to review really quick. If you're taking notes, write all of this down, and then that's going to help you strategize how you want to go through your process. So first thing, write out your process. You have to know what it is that you want to do with your clients. Do I want to send a contract here? Do I want to send a questionnaire here? Dubsado, the actual tool, will not be able to give you your process. I know that a lot of people are hoping that's what it's going to do, but Dubsado is really a tool that will expand your process and help you with your process that you already have written out. One thing that I will mention that might help some of you guys, if you are struggling with, I don't know what my process is, definitely reach out in the community. We have 11,000 members in there. If you are a photographer, that's going to be a huge resource for you. How does your process work? What do you guys do after you do a consultation? That's the best place when it comes to industry related things, is to reach out in the community. We have so many people in there, and that's the best place to get information. If you're a cake designer and you want to know what's your process like, definitely go into the community, write some posts, and then that way you guys can bounce ideas off each other as far as what do your forms look like, or what does your workflow look like, and you can collaborate based off the industry that you're in. But once you have your process written out, go into settings first. Always go to settings up in the top here, the gear icon, get all of your settings set up. You might not need everything, but go through each one, see what it is that you need, connect it, get it set up, and then move on to the content, which is primarily going to be your template section. So go through the templates, get your packages set up, your forms, emails, all of that stuff. Then your projects, you might have some project statuses that you want to create, some tags, get all of that set up, then move to your workflows. That's going to help you a lot with understanding, organizing everything, and making sure your content makes sense as you're building it. So I really hope this was helpful for you guys. If you do have questions on how to get set up, or if you want to do more one-on-one consulting and talking about different methods that you can use in this process, definitely book a call with us. Let me bring this up here since I'm done using this. Definitely book a call with us. I'll put up the link to book a call with us. So dubsado.com/getting-started. Definitely fill that in. It's a free one-on-one consultation call. It's 20 minutes long. We can talk about your process, talk about how your workflow is going to work if you have your process written out. And we're very willing to sit down with you and help you get started in the system. But definitely think about what we went over today. Hopefully that helps you understand whenever you first sign up for Dubsado, or you're getting into the system, that's going to give you a good roadmap on how to work through everything. So if you guys have any questions, you can write them in the comments box. I'll go back through today and look at things that you guys are writing and answer you back. If you do want to see something on FAQ&A, definitely write me a post as well too, and I'll try to cover that in later FAQ&As. But other than that, have a great rest of the week. Let us know if you need help, and hopefully you guys are doing well. Take it easy.